right, y'all. Thanks for hopping on. So we are going to go over planning your week for success, setting up for success this week. And if you've been on here, you know that it's been a little bit different every week because I kind of work my business in weeks rather than I look at the whole month, yes, but then I focus on the week on Sunday nights as far as what's going on for until the following Sunday, so I can better get a plan of okay, this is what I'm going to do. Because if you go into your business blind and you don't really know what's going on, that's how your results are going to be. Your results are going to be a product of your planning. So if you're not planning well, you're not going to get great results. And you're also going to realize that this business doesn't have to take a whole lot of time. Of course, it's going to take time, but it takes a whole lot of intentionality with your time. So if you're not planning and you don't have that intentionality and know what you're doing, you feel like you're going to spend a long time on this and get little results, but it really is just because you're wasting a lot of time because you haven't planned for what to do. So this week is the 23rd through the 28th. So I like to look at weeks like that. So grab your calendar real quick and we're going to fill out. We have Jill has her gold call at 12:30. Monday night meetup is going to be over duplication, which Marissa's going to be leading that. So if you feel like you're struggling with creating business builders, duplication is going to be where it's at. We have a referral event on Thursday. So this is where you want to invite all your people that are new, all your people that you have chatted with about sharing the business, all your people that have made posts, all the people who aren't on Plexus yet that you feel like this opportunity could help, which is everyone. So that's what's going on this week. And then next week, I like to look ahead towards the end of the month because I can see, okay, after this week, there's only 3 days left of the month. Tuesday is the 31st, and then it is Halloween. So we can probably see and assume that people are going to be busy that night. That doesn't mean that stuff can't happen. Of course, Halloween was one of our biggest, mine and Jill's biggest nights. I ranked Senior Ruby and she ranked Emerald on Halloween night one time, but it was like we freaking hustled the entire day. So I wouldn't wait till the last minute for sure. So we want to prep for that and do our work this week and front load. And then next week is kind of just like the cherry on top if we get extra people. So I want you to in the chat or unmute yourself and think about how many points. So look at your points today. If you need to log into your back office, that's totally fine. We're going to be working during these calls. So if you need to look into your back office, see where your points are now, and then look back and hopefully you set a goal at the beginning of the month and see what your goal was at the beginning of the month. And if you already passed it, awesome. It's time to set a new goal. And if you haven't, see how many points you need until you get to your goal. For instance, if my goal is 200 and I am at 120 right now, that means I need 80 points before next Tuesday in order to reach my goal. So I want you to write that down first and then share it in the chat if you feel like you want to. You don't have to. 174. Okay, so 20 or 80% of the points usually roll in the last 20% of the month. So just keep that in mind if you feel like, oh my gosh, I'm still so far away. If you stop right now, you're not going to reach your goal. But if you push, somehow the points magically come, but it's not the points magically coming. You're doing the work, your team's doing the work, but 80% of goals all happen in the last 20% of the time. Okay. And then I want you to, after you look at your personal goals, because this isn't just about us, when we help our teams reach their goals, we reach our goals. So this is where I'm also going to log into my back office real quick. And I want y'all to look at your team and your team that's working and what their goals were at the beginning of the month. Go through and write their names. Oh, let me admit people. Sorry. Forgot. Sorry, Marissa. Forgot that I had a waiting room. Sorry. I don't know why I have a waiting room. Okay. So Marissa, we were just looking at goals and we're looking at our team because we're like in crunch time now. So we want to look at our team and see who is pushing for something and where they are now and how many points they are away from their goal. Or I also want you, let's look at that first. So look at that first. The people that you actively know that are working their business, write their names down. And if you don't have anyone working yet, that's totally okay. I want you to write out people that you want to invite to the referral event on Thursday. So I'm going to give y'all about 4 minutes to do that. Sorry, Tori. I forgot there was a waiting room. Okay. So we're just doing some goal setting for this week and seeing what we need to do in order to reach our goals. Okay. The next thing that I want you guys to do is to look in your back office and see anyone who has added one VIP customer. Does everyone know how to do that? Thumbs up. Okay. Melissa does not. So let me show you. Oh, I can't share with you because it's going to, if I try and upload this to YouTube and there's information on there, it won't let me upload my video. I figured out that's why my old video wouldn't. But what you do, I'm gonna talk you through it as I'm doing it on my computer. Okay, so you go to, just to make sure I don't say the steps in the wrong order. So when you log into your back office or your virtual office and you go to dashboard, when you're on dashboard, it says my subscription, then it says current PV, and then the next one over, hold on, let me make my screen bigger. The next one over says new VIPs and then new brand ambassadors. It's like split into two. You click on the actual words, either new VIP or new brand ambassador. You click that, and then that's going to load all the new VIPs for the month. So it's going to load all your VIPs, and then it's going to tell you the name, then it'll tell you the sponsor. And what you can do is you can click on sponsor name and it'll sort it by alphabetically. So let's say, Lindsay adds 3. It'll say Lindsay, then it'll have all of her people to the left. So it groups them. Okay. So what I want you to do is I want you to go through there and I want you to write down every single person who has added someone on your team. And I want you to connect with them this week. First, let's do that. Then I'm going to give you the next task. So I want you to write down all the names of the people who have added someone and how many they have added. And again, if your team hasn't added someone and you're the only one adding, that's awesome. I want you to write down the people that you have added and go ahead and shoot them an invite to the referral event on Thursday. Something like, hey, we're having an event on Thursday that's going to share everything or your referral link and what all that comes with or what all perks of that. It's going to be on Facebook, something generic like that. I'm like trying to read and do that at the same time, but just something generic, like, are you cool with me adding you? Just make it real simple. And they're probably going to say yes. And then just say, okay, whenever the messenger event it gets up, I will add you in there. It's just scrolling through information. There's no video call or anything to add. Sound good? And they're going to say yes. And then so send some sort of message like that. You can voice message if you want to. So go ahead and write down new VIPs this month, and then I'll tell you what to do next.
Hey, Rach, can I add something?
Mm-hmm.
So something I do since I've gotten a desk, this is something that I've usually just kept in my planner, but I always keep like a running list and I check this every single day of people on my team that have added a VIP. Even if it's me, I write the VIP and I write me in parentheses. If it's someone on my team, I write the new person and then in parentheses, I write like Rebecca parentheses. And so every day if they add someone, I go and I check in with them because that's something that I'm really working on is retention. And so I make sure they've sent them the welcome guide. I make sure they've, got them into the referral link. So with the referral program, not the link, but referral program event coming up this Thursday, I'm going to reach out to every one of these people and say, hey, I see you added this person this month. Make sure and get them in the referral program event this Thursday. So just wanted to share that's a running list that I just keep track of every single day. So
Love that.
And it helps. Yeah.
Yeah. And I will say, since Kelsey has been doing that, her retention has been amazing. And that's something that she's been intentionally working on because her retention was low. She found it with her coaching call with Nick. So that's something that I've been really proud of her for focusing on. She saw a problem and that's how she fixed it.
And something he challenged me to do this month, it was last month that he challenged me to do, was the beginning of every month, look at your team and see how many they added, who they added, and literally meet with them at the beginning of every month and ask them, who are the people you added, and make them like tell you their names and then have them write it down so they see them. And something I know Rachel reached out to us too, because obviously he's probably telling her the same thing, but it was along the lines of, they are more than just numbers or a VIP.
Mhm.
They are actually people with families and, all the things. So I just thought that was something I wasn't doing before this last month, was intentionally meeting with my runners or my people that are adding people and making them tell me, like, who did you add? Who? Like, tell me their names.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's great. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, like I just saw someone on my team that hasn't added someone in a long time, added someone. And she
yeah,
didn't
me
even tell me
too.
that.
Really.
Yeah, like she didn't
Okay.
tell me that and it was today. So I'm like, huh? When did you like I would have never known if I didn't look at this.
Same.
Um, so now what I want you to do is I want you to look. Okay, so these people have this as your list. You're gonna invite these people that added anyone to, like Kelsey said, you're gonna reach out to them and say, hey, invite your new people to the referral event on Thursday. Here's a script. So just give them the script, because if you give them the script, people will copy and paste. But if you say, hey, make sure and reach out to them. When I first started, y'all, I'm not kidding. And I'm someone who wanted a business. So think about people who don't, like, who are kind of half in, half out. They're probably not going to do the work that you're going to do. So if you say, hey, reach out to them, they're going to be like, what does that mean? Like, I don't know what that means. But if you say, hey, I have a script for you, anyone can copy and paste and tweak a few words. I was constantly on YouTube Googling how to reach out to people about Plexus, like scripts and stuff. So just know, scripts to us, it can be very natural. Cause like to me, I don't care if I sound stupid. I'm like, girl, sorry, my brain is like mush by it now with these 3 kids. But some people really do care about the way they sound. I would say most people do, and they don't want to sound dumb. And so, but if you give them something to say, they will copy and paste and say it. So have them reach out to them. But also, like, there's a girl that I don't even recognize her name that added 1 person. So I'm going to look tomorrow or tonight, actually, before I go to bed, see who she's underneath and be like, hey, this girl added 1 person. If she adds 2 more, she can go silver. So what I want you to do now is just star some names of people that you're like, oh, this girl added 1. I can push her to add 2. This girl added 2. All she needs is 1 more order. So I want you to star some names of some people that maybe aren't necessarily your runners, but people who, that you can reach out to and put that little bug in them. And you also want to invite them to the referral event, of course. So put a little star by them, because they may not be aware. They may have used their link and been like, oh, I didn't even know. And one more thing is they're also, you can tell them about the incentive too. Like, hey, if you add 1 more, you get the cup or whatever that thing is, the mug. Okay. And then the next thing I want y'all to do is, those people on your team, I said this to, Marissa and Kelsey, the other day. I sent a message to them about this, but something that mine and Jill's coach from Plexus, awesome, Lindsay, she said she was texting one for those watching the recording. The coach that we have from Plexus, sorry, I had to get my train of thought again. She always tells us this is a time of the month, and is so true. This middle time of the month, middle, like 3rd week of the month, is when people either are like, I'm so far from my goal. Like even Lindsay, like, I know you're working this business like a business. And even your like emoji face of like, if I still have to get 74 points for my goal. That's how people are feeling, but you're going to grind through it because you have grit. Think about people who aren't quite serious about the business yet, or maybe don't have as much belief in themselves yet. We have to pour that belief into them and let them know, like, hey, just because you're here right now does not mean that you need to give up this month. So I encourage you, to all these people that you see with these goals, like I already wrote, while we were writing earlier, calls this week, like phone calls, actual calls that I'm going to make this week to people who said they're working their business, but maybe aren't where they want to be yet. And I wrote their names down, or people that are working it and doing great. I wrote their names down, and I have right here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 phone calls to make. And I have 2 that are business prospects that I want to wait. So you might look at that and be like, well, when do I have time for 9 phone calls? I can tell you, I do it when my kids are in the backyard. If it's other moms of little kids, which a lot of my market, or my network is moms of little kids. I assume they probably have the same schedule as me. Their kids probably have a nap time. If they work, I think about when I was working, when I would work my business, and I would talk on the phone when I had phone calls when I was a teacher on the way to teaching on my lunch break, on my conference period, or on my way home. So those are the times. And by the time I got home, I didn't want to talk to no one. So I'm never like, hey, after bedtime, like if you're working a full-time job, you're whooped by after. You don't want to talk to anyone. So I always think about, hey, like a girl that wants to do the business. I told her like, hey, do you have time on your way to school or on your way home before you pick up your daughter from daycare? We can just make it real quick. So just shoot them a text and let them know like, hey, what time works for you? And then let me see if I can work around that. The calls don't have to be super serious. They can be with, a lot of mine, like I said, or I'm on the back porch and my kids are playing on the swing and I'm just talking and they're coming up to me, mommy, I need water. Like, that's okay. It's okay if that comes in. So just call those people and give them that. She calls them, GMBF calls them, I believe calls, like, hey, I believe in you. And literally say those words, I believe in you. Before Plexus, I don't think anyone ever said those words to me ever. So that's going to make a really powerful impact on them. Okay. Kelsey says a lot of my points roll through at the very end of the month, but right now I'm 500-ish away from my goal for the end of the month. Got to get my booty and team in gear. And when you get your booty in gear, then that's going to make it to where you're just going to surpass your points. Okay. So those are kind of the things that I have that are again, guys, this is added on top of the winning day. So these are things that are on top of the winning day. And then this is going to be my focus for this week as I'm inviting people to the referral event. I just went in my back office and wrote down names of people I'm going to call for I believe calls. I wrote down people who have added people so I can pour belief into them. Because you may think, oh, they know that they can go silver and get $300 and get a prize. They don't. Like, I can guarantee you a lot of these people that accidentally share it, they don't know. Like my babysitter's on here. She added her mom. I'm going to tell her like, hey, I know you wanted to add your aunt. Go ahead and add your aunt. And then, hey, you're two. You're one away. Once you get people that two, they're going to find the third, even if it's their husband. So making that a priority. And then, does anyone have any questions, anything that you're like, hey, I need help with this? And then I have one more thing we're going to do, then we can hop off. Someone's sound machine. Oh, it's probably my sound machine. That's my kid's sound machine. It's behind my computer. I usually don't use one, but my son was like screaming tonight and that's not his norm. So I put one on. This is very helpful. I'm glad. Okay. The last thing that I want you to do, and this is going to be, I'll stay on for the other 8 minutes just because I committed from 8 to 8:30 in case anyone pops on late. But the last thing I want you to do, and you can hop off and do your own, is I want you to go ahead and make your list of people, because this is helpful too. When I was working a full-time job, what it looked like for me is I had sticky notes just like this. And before I went to bed, I would write down all the, like, basically essentially what I needed to do the next day with Plexus, meaning like who I was going to reach out to, who I needed to add to what event, who I needed to follow up with. And I would have like 5 or 10 sticky notes. Like I would have however much, and I would stick them. You can't see it because I'm on my computer, but on the laptop, it like looks like this. I would stick it on the bottom part on my keyboard where there's a little bit of room by the mouse. And I would just stick it there because that's when I knew when I was working, my laptop was always going to be on me. Then if I had an extra, minute here or 2 minutes there, I would shoot out a quick message. And I would usually I would like batch work it. So I would have workouts. Look how cute he is. What's up, Jax? I would batch work it. So let's say all the calls, like this is my list of calls this week. I would go ahead and make my script tonight about what I'm going to say to them about a call. And then when I had like 4 seconds, I would shoot it off to them real quick. And then I would have another script for an invite for the referral event. And then when I had a couple minutes, I would shoot it off real quick and then just mark off the names on my sticky note. So I tried to pre-work as much as I can, kind of like meal planning. Like you meal plan on Sunday, you don't do everything, but you do the majority of it so that whenever you do have some time during the week, it makes a load a lot easier. And you're like, oh, I forgot I had my ground beef pre-prepped, or I had my veggies pre-cut. It takes out the like annoying work, like the noise. So you can just do like the effective work during the week when you're really, really busy. So what I want you to do for the next 6 minutes, if you want to stay on, if not, you can totally pop off and do it on your own. Go ahead and write down the names of everyone you're going to write to the referral, invite to the referral event. We've already wrote down some names, but think about people that you haven't reached out to. If you need some brain joggers, go to your last Facebook post, whether personal or Instagram, whatever, personal or Plexus post, write down some names of people you maybe haven't reached out to yet. And then also we have a messenger event tomorrow night. Go ahead and write down names of everyone that you're going to invite to that messenger event. New people again, that are liking your post, people who are new to your team, reach out to them and have them invite people. Don't forget about your team and telling them to invite people. We assume that people know about stuff. They don't, they forget. So I forget. Jill has to message me sometimes. I'm like, oh crap, I totally forgot. It's not because I didn't want to remember. It's just people have a lot going on in their brain. And we, drop some of the plates sometimes. So just shoot a quick message reminder of those people. And then anyone that you have been talking to about the products, write their names down. So just get some lists going so you have some follow-ups to do. So we're going to do that for the next 5 minutes. Thank y'all for hopping on. I'm going to stop recording, but if you want to stay on and ask questions, stay on. If not, just stay on and work.